Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Burnout Prevention Network talk show. And I'm Casey Pacheco, my co host, Dr.
I'm
Nate.
Dr. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm Dr. Nyampu Kemoho.
Yes, and today we have a really special show planned. So, the Burnout Prevention Network is hosted under the Nurses in Charge nonprofit. So, we wanted to spend a little time to explain to our audience what some of the projects we have coming down the pipeline, what Nurses in Charge nonprofit is all about, and what our mission, our goals, our intentions are for all of our projects concerning nurses, and then how you could join us and how you could get on board and you can see where you fit in to all of the things that we have to offer. So, Dr. Nayempu, I'm going to put her in the hot seat for a little bit, just for a second, because she is the founder of Nurses in Charge. And I just wanted to share with our viewers, what is Nurses in Charge? What is that all about?
Thank you, Casey. Nurses in Charge is an organization founded here in Florida, but serves nurses globally. So our mission with this, and let me just go back on how it was inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to our viewers who are listening, who are from other countries, who are not just U.S. born, but they are also practicing nursing in the United States. Just think about that nurse that's in your native land who is not able to easily communicate with another nurse in the U.S. and or a nurse in the U.S. who does not have that cultural uh, a transitional understanding about nursing in other countries, just that dynamic, what happens in other nursing arena around the world. So nurses in charge came about from that sense because we have nurses who are from other countries who come to the U.S. or nurses from the U.S. that travel to other countries, and so we don't have that connection. That nurse who's leaving from one country to another is a foreigner, complete foreigner to the system in that country. So nurses in charge was brought about so that we can connect with other nurses around the world, so that we can that connection will bring a vibrant um, means of us connecting globally and understanding healthcare across borders. There's Doctors Without Borders. There are other organizations, and there are doctors who are quite recognized and connected with other doctors around the world. Nursing need that connection.
Mhm.
Nursing need to be able to speak freely for and with other nurses in other countries. And so nurses in charge serves that that pillar of connection, also serves the pillar of celebrating nurses globally, celebrating our achievements, celebrating our retirement, celebrating every walk of life as a nurse in society. So we do that, and plus we empower nurses to go above and beyond their educational aspirations to be community impactors, where they're not just a silent person. That nurse is well known in his or her community. That nurse is a change agent, not to just go to work and come home. So we're empowering nurses on so many levels of our daily lives, so many levels of our professional involvements in society. So that is in a brief introduction of what Nurses in Charge stands for.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And I love that you're pulling the community, the nursing community together, but you're also pulling it for the good of the communities, right, in
Yes.
which we live. I think, Dr. Nyampu, something that I have noticed part of being a member of Nurses in Charge is that your mom, she's a veteran nurse and she's at the forefront of Nurses in Charge. That's amazing. What are some of the things she's done for the community, even back in Liberia?
So I'll go back to the advent of nursing or nurses in charge,
Hmm.
because my mother has always been my inspiration, in bringing me into nursing, and also watching her how she carries herself as a professional. What she's doing back home, she has an orphanage, and at that orphanage she would work as a travel nurse in the U.S., and then travel to on her off month. She'll go to Africa, to Liberia, and be the nurse, the mother, and everything for those kids. So she is intercontinental. She is
Yeah.
international. She just like crosses all borders, right? So watching her do that, and then watching her train um, older women in the communities how to be watchful eyes as nurse midwives,
Mm,
doing that from like a blueprint programs that she set up years before the civil war we had in Liberia, really equipped those nurses. And then no matter what country she finds herself in, she'll always connect nurses. So all through the year, uh, these ways of her, carrying herself as a professional really dawned on me that wow, if nurses were disconnected around the globe, they would do remarkable things. So that is who she is. She is on the forefront. She is educating. When she's at a hospital sick, in Liberia, she's connecting nurses, um, to know nurses in charge to get involved.
yeah.
She is a change maker, and I would say she's one of the best recruiter I've ever known in my life.
She really is, and she will sell you on it. But
She's been a nurse now 48 years.
wow,
She's
wow.
been a nurse
And
way before I was born, really.
Nayimpu, I think that's something that really drew me to Nurses in Charge, because now more than ever, younger nurses need the mentorship and the family, the community feeling, that knowing that they're supported and that they can do it. And your mom definitely exemplifies it. And I think she sets a really good example for any of our viewers listening on or looking on, and maybe they are retired, maybe they're not at bedside anymore, and they realize they have so much to give.
Yeah.
And I think our mentorship program through the Burnout Prevention Network, um, I think that's really wonderful what Nurses in Charge can do for those nurses, really preserving their skills and their value to our nursing profession. And your
Yes.
mom exemplifies it. She does awesome.
Yes. Talk about preserving skills. You would be very much fascinated to understand that there are nurses around the world who graduate nursing school and don't have CEUs. They don't have that education unit where they'll
Mhm.
go and refresh their skills, whether it be through a literature, whether it be hands on practice like a skills fair. Some nurses don't have that luxury. So one of the very strong arm of nurses in charge is to make sure that nurses around the world have the same level of skill set where they if you were to travel from the US to go to Liberia, that nurse taking care of you will be well equipped,
Mhm.
confident in his or her skills to practice on you, to take care of you. Because
Mhm.
the more we can equip nurses globally to be at the same or somewhat close to that same
Mm.
level of nursing skills and practice level,
Yeah.
we can rest assured that if we were to travel, someone we love and dearly love were to travel around the globe, we will rest assured that the care they're receiving is top notch. So,
Ooh.
yes.
I think that's phenomenal, especially now that a lot of people are traveling or even moving to different countries. That's something that weighs heavy on their mind, the standard of healthcare. And I love I love the vibe about Nurses in Charge because it's not saying, "Oh, well, we're the best and you're not there, so we're going
Mhm,
to help you." The vibe with Nurses in Charge is more like, uh, uh, let's share.
mhm,
There are parts of healthcare that your country has really done well, and there
mhm.
are parts of healthcare where our country has really done well. Let's share so that we can elevate together. I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. May I add that when we say nurses in charge, when we use the word nurses over and over, we are referring to CNAs, LPNs, graduate nurses, RNs, L, nurse practitioners,
Mhm,
anyone who has the title nurse, nurse something, nurse anything. I say that because that's the divide, that's the gap we our mission is to close that gap
mhm,
of speaking of oneself as, oh, I'm just a CNA, oh, I'm just an
mhm.
LPN. Or let the real nurses do it. So RN would stand for real nurse. I've heard people say that. So we
Oh,
want to
wow.
close, yeah, real nurse. And then the LPN, they'll say, I'm a low pay nurse, you know? So
Oh,
you've
oh,
never heard
wow.
that? Yes. So in my 24 years in healthcare, mainly in nursing, I've come, it breaks my heart when hear that. And or
Mhm,
it breaks my heart to see an RN, demean an LPN or talk down to
mhm,
a CNA. Or the CNA have a wealth of knowledge about something. They have the skill set, but they won't apply it because they feel devalued in the workplace because they're
mhm,
not real nurses, or that's just the culture of that work environment. That's that's the area nurses in charge goes to advocate, and we want to make sure that we bridge that gap where a CNA feels so much worth it, worth
mhm,
their field, because without a CNA performing their job,
mhm,
believe me, they are a strong asset on our teams. And if they don't do their job, it pulls us back to go and do their job and our jobs. So
mhm,
our responsibilities on the job are equally important. I started
mhm,
as a nurse's aide, and up to now, when I'm at a bedside, I can do all of it. But is
mhm,
that uh, um is that using my time wisely? I may be
mhm,
working hard, but not working smart, and that will
mhm,
impact the patient's care. So we're bridging that gap. That when we say nurses, we're speaking about anyone and everyone who have been trained, who carry that licensure or certificate as a nurse. If it says nurse something, you're part of us. So don't say, oh, they're just speaking to the RNs. No, we're not. We're speaking to you. If you are a doctoral nurse, if you are just a nurse that was trained in the hospital, once you're wearing that title, please feel welcome.
I love it. And I think that speaks only, because in the US, we have a hierarchy, but
Mhm.
also in different countries, nurses are trained differently. So what they may be called, it may change. But you're speaking to everyone who has the nursing um, within their scope, whether it's assistant a nurse
Yeah.
or you're lecturing to nurses as a professor. I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful, Nyampu, Dr. Nyampu. I wanted to talk a little bit about, because you talked about the nursing assistant's role in helping nurses, and we have the burnout prevention program that is part of Nurses in Charge. And I was just wondering, what do you foresee as we empower our LPNs, as we empower our nurses assistants, and we pour into them? What do you foresee that how does that help the burnout that and the shortages currently being experienced by the nursing profession?
Actually, Casey, by empowering nurses from the grassroots, from just the very nurses in nursing assistants that we have, when we will look upon them as equals, regardless of our degree levels, that in itself brings value. that in itself tells that nursing assistant that you are part of our team. You are not left out. And
Mhm.
I say that because when we feel devalued, it comes from different aspects of our work environment. It may be that our patients are talking down to us, it may be
Mhm.
that our nurse managers are talking down to us, or it may just be that the charge nurse and or the RN we work with don't care about us being sick, you know. So when we value each other and feel as a team, work as a team, and
Mhm.
really give our attention to each other in
Mhm.
the nursing realm, we
Mhm.
are giving the quality that we're not waiting for someone else to give us. That level of prestige that the nursing assistant would say, you know what, I like the way nurse RNs treat me. I'm going to become an RN. Then
Yeah.
it takes the the I would say it takes the staffing pool from just having all LPNs or all CNAs, nurses assistants, to say we have too many nurses assistants, but we don't have a lot of RNs, or vice versa. It helps them to it empowers those who are aspiring to become to elevate and get their higher degrees. It helps them to go there. Otherwise, they'll just decide, you know what, I am just comfortable being
Yeah.
a nurse's aide. I don't need
Yeah.
to go up there because the RNs are being worked harder than me, or the RNs don't value me, anything of that. So it really helps propel them to the next level.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking um, most of the CNAs and the LPNs actually would go on to become RNs or even advanced practicing nurse practitioners, which is really helpful. So I love your mission. I love the vision of nurses in charge. Something I wanted to talk about is recently we talked and we have the logo here up there, Reckless Faith. Now,
Yeah.
what does Reckless Faith? Where did this all come about? Because I know we were talking about nurses in charge being global. But if you're from, I'm from one part of the earth, you're from one part of the earth, how are we going to get global with our initiative?
Thank you, Casey. Going global means it can mean two things. It can mean we sit here in the virtual room and invite other nurses to come and conversate with us and have this dialogue. But we truly don't know each other till we go and see them, till we actually get out of our comfort zone and actually go to those countries for them to see the true human. We are not just avatars, right? So for us to go and venture into um, other countries and then allow other nurses to come and experience, whether they're coming for a convention, get their trainings and then take back the wealth of knowledge and impact their communities. That is reckless enough, but you're putting your faith into a place where you've never been. You're going there in faith that you will be okay, that you will be taken care of, that
Yeah,
that you are not just going on your own venture, but you're going in good faith that you are going to impact society. You are going to impact the profession as a whole. So just leaving your comfort zone, regardless of what people have to say about you, regardless of how it may impact your professional standards in your own country, but you are going into that nation. You're going. It is a commission, but you're not doing it on your own. You're not just going for pleasure. You may have some fun time while you're there, but you're going because you want to impact lives. And you
yeah,
cannot impact lives when you stay in your comfort zone. You have to leap out. You have to go somewhere different to learn something different and bring that difference into your community and allow the others to come and exchange. I don't know if you ever heard of exchange students. That's a
mhm,
that's a reckless faith because they leave from everything they know and come to another country to to gain something and then take it back to where they are, where they're coming from.
That's amazing. And I think I really agree with you that that will be reckless faith because you have there's a level of trust where you know how you do things. But I
Mhm.
think a lot of nurses, you know, just going back to the history of nursing, it was in a religious state.
Mhm.
So a lot of them were missionaries actually that went to different countries to help the people there. And now you're saying we're going to help, but we're going to help not just the people where that's just short term, but we're going to have an exchange with our fellow nurses.
Mhm.
And that's more of a long term effect. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So if a nurse is watching and they're like, oh my gosh, it sounds amazing. It sounds like something I'm on board with. I want to join. What do I have to do? Who do I have to talk to? What can I expect of being part of this nonprofit organization? And how can I help this move forward? What are some things you would say to that nurse?
I would say, first of all, just send an email to the nurses in charge at gmail.com. You can also find us on, on Facebook under the same title, Nurses in Charge. You can find us on YouTube. We have some videos on YouTube. And I will back up to Facebook. We even have, because we are a Christian organization, we have daily devotionals because we believe that praying with nurses, no matter where they are, and the internet is vast today, where there are people in my village in Liberia who have the internet at the tips of their fingers. They have it. So you can be there and you can pray with another nurse. What a meaningful way to connect with other nurses through prayer, because we live in a global society today where fear has overwhelmed us. So we connect that way. And then also you can call us, okay? We'll have that number. We meet on WhatsApp as well. So we have a WhatsApp chat line that we meet there once a month, but throughout the week, throughout the month. I would say daily. We are chatting. We are organizing webinars, and through those webinars, sometimes we have presenters. Like on the 23rd, we have Florida Nurses Association. We will be attending their infection control webinar. Go figure. So we are connecting that way. So send that email, and truly, if you want to become a member, we will send you a link that you can fill out google Google Doc form that tells us just demographic information, very basic, and then you're in. So there are no fees. You're not coming to pay fees before you join us. So bring your colleagues. Make sure you speak with your nurse managers, your nurse executives. Bring them on board because we need a wealth of knowledge that every nurse has.
Absolutely. I'm going to put this up here. We have our editors. We have editors welcome.
Mhm.
So it's going to be on our LinkedIn. You could find the QR code, you could scan, and then we'll take you straight to the sign up page. If you email us, we will give you that code to go right to the sign up page. And I just thank you so much, Dr. Nayampu, for taking some time just to give us a little bit more insight as far as what Nurses in Charge is all about. There's a ton of nurses out there. They would love to be part of something that is outside of themselves, that is so global in perspective, and that
Mhm.
has such a noble mission and vision to elevate the standard and practice of nurses all around the globe. So I thank you so much. I am so grateful to be a part of this, a partner to you. And watching this grow in the next 5 years, I could just imagine how amazing this organization is going to look because we're going to have a connection with nurses from many different countries, exchanging information, improving practice, maybe even getting thoughts that we would not have gotten had we just sat where we were from, and just imagine what that's going to look for our whole profession. So I thank you so much for your reckless faith in starting and going, and If you have any closing words for our nurses, you can feel free to tell them right now. Any closing words if you do
I
have.
absolutely have a closing word for our nurses chiming in, because you may be thinking, oh, just another organization. They are, and when I did my research, there are over 150 nursing organizations around the world. But these entities are specific to different um, professional avenues in nursing. You find the Registered Nurse Association. You may find the Advanced Nurse Association. Name it. And some are just based in the U.S. So they are geographically limited. But Nurses in Charge is crossing borders. Nurses in Charge is going and saying we are, in comparison to Doctors Without Borders. We are nurses who are crossing all cultures. And you may also say, wait a minute, you guys sound like the International Nursing Association. We don't. We are different because we're faith based. And you don't have to be a Christian to join us. We'll welcome you. You come in. Once you are a nurse, that's all that qualifies you to join us. So please feel welcome and join us. This is not just another organization again. I repeat, this is our way. This is a movement for us to connect, for us to celebrate with each other, for us to empower each other across the borders, across the world, so that when you travel to a new country, when you travel to another city, you know someone there that you can contact. Maybe a reference you may need for that job. Maybe someone just to take a lunch break with you somewhere. Someone to hold your hands and pray. So this is not just another organization. I promise you that. Come and experience Nurses in Charge, and you be the judge. Thank you.
Incredible, incredible. Well, you heard it right from the source itself. Thank you so much, Dr. Nayembu Karmo Hall. It has been a pleasure. And if you have any questions regarding Nurses in Charge, please feel free to leave it in the comments below and we will get back to you. If you do know a nurse that will enjoy being part of this organization, feel free to send this video to them. I thank you so much and we'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you, everyone.